How's it going? Dave from Comic Book Investments. So every month I like to go through the top 10 comics, new comic books, and how many units have sold of that comic that previous month. So we're going to look at, basically this is like I think September, around then. It takes a couple while for the actual data to come in. So let's look at the top 10 most sold comics of the month. All right, so this is Ultimate Comics Fallout 4. This is basically the facsimile cover to Ultimate Fallout 4. So they just reissued it so people could probably get their hands on it without paying like $1 bazillion to get it. So I've seen these pop up on eBay recently. My dog is back there sneezing or something. Anyways, units sold, 92,542. This is for the 10th spot. It costs $3.99. Publisher is Marvel. And that brought in Marvel. It brought in $370,000. Think about that book. Now, I talked to a bunch of people, and they said roughly about half goes through the distributor and all that kind of stuff. And so, Marvel's not making all that money. You have distributor, then you have the comic shops, all that stuff. So they're probably getting roughly around half is what they're actually getting. All right, let's move on to the 9th spot. The 9th spot, we got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin. This is the 4th comic in the series. I'm excited for it to end so I can actually read them all. And so this has sold 97,000 units, and that is down about 1,000 units from issue 3. So if you have the units up here number, and then you have a minus or a plus, that's the difference between the previous issue. If it's like a number 1 issue, like the facsimile one, there's nothing to compare it to because it's just a one and done, then I'm not going to have anything to add or subtract from it. This costs $8.99. Publisher is IDW. That brought in $872,000. Think about that. Wow, it's almost $1 million for this book. Quite a lot, especially since it's a bigger book, so it costs more. All right, number 8. We got Extreme Carnage Toxin number 1, and this sold a little over 100,000 units. Price was about $3.99 from Marvel, and so this brought in Marvel $402,000. All right, moving on. Number 7, we got Dark Ages number 1, and this sold 111,456 units. This one cost $4.99 from Marvel, so this brought Marvel in about a little over $550,000. Also, if you wait till the end, I got some kind of cool information about the current comic book market and how much money it's actually making as a whole. So that's pretty interesting. I'd wait till the end for that. All right, number 6. We got Batman 113. This is down 2,000 units and it has sold 114,000 units. So this is down 2,000 units from the previous issue. This is $4.99 from DC, bringing in DC roughly about $568,000. On number 5, we got Batman 112, which brought in 116,000 units. That's down 2,000 from the previous issue. $4.99. It brought in around $578,000. So quite a bit. So it's nice to see that Batman is still just the normal issue, not some special number 1. Usually if it's a number 1 issue, they have all these variant covers, and so everyone has to buy a bazillion of them so they can get the 1 in 50, 1 in 100 ratio variant covers, things like that. So it's nice to see that Batman and SpiderMan are usually the top dogs, and so they're consistently selling about 115,000, 120,000 units. All right, number 4, we got Amazing Spider-Man number 74. This one's really interesting. So this one sold 122,219 units. From the previous issue, it's down 16,000, a little over 16,000 units. But the thing about this is this was a $10 comic. This is some special thing. And so this brought in $1,220,000 for Marvel. Now, obviously, like I said, there's different cuts with distribution, the comic shops, yada, yada, yada. So, but that's interesting. I'm assuming this had 1 billion variant cover, so everyone needs to get the variant cover, blah, blah, blah. Next, number 3, we got Inferno number 1. This sold almost 136,000 units. As you can see, there's nothing to compare it to because there was no Inferno 0 or whatever was before this. This was a $5.99 book, and this brought in Marvel $812,000. Number 2, we got SpiderMan 73. This sold 138,831 units, which was up 57,000 units. Think about that. So the previous one before this was sold way less. So this one was massively up. I can't tell you why this one sold way more than it did. So this is a $4 book. So this brought in Marvel 553,000. All right, and our number 1 goes to Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters, number 4. This sold 149,000 units. This is up 68,000 units from the previous issue, issue 3. This is a $3.99 book, and this is from Marvel, and this brought in almost $600,000 for Marvel. So kind of crazy. Pretty cool cover. I like it. But as I was saying, there's something interesting at the end of this video, and that is, let's see how the comic book market is doing in terms of dollars. All right, so here's a little graph for you. Don't worry about the picture. Just I used a Spider-Man picture because I liked it. Anyways, year to date. So this would go from January to September. And if you look here, this is how much from direct sales. So direct sales is straight to the comic shops, straight to Walmart, wherever, just direct sales. There's not really newsstand. There was back in 03, 2021. I don't think there's any newsstand anymore. But so this is direct sales. If you look at here, and this actually accounts for inflation as well. So if you look here, in 2003, direct sales for comics was $157 million. This accounts for inflation. So as comic books cost more, this accounts for it. Now, in 2003, you probably had some newsstands. So boost that number a little more because you're getting newsstands. 2006, you're looking at, from year to date, so January to September, you're looking at 183 million. Not as many newsstands, but still existed. 2011, you're looking at 177 million. And then 2016, which was the biggest year, was 242 million. Now this is direct sales through the distributor. And that was the biggest year. Probably not too many newsstands during this time. Doubt, probably nothing at all. And then 2019, it dropped massively to 194. But 2021, this year, it's up to 230. So almost one of the biggest years since the last 2 decades. So that's pretty crazy to think that comics have really started to come back. Now, I don't know why that is. My guess, if I had to guess, would be other publishers coming into play. Like, obviously, you have publishers back in 2003 and things like that. But I feel like a lot of comics, like the more independent stuff, are charging you more. Kind of like that Last Ronin, charging you, $8.99. And so I feel like people are wanting maybe more story and bigger like volumes like that than having just these, quick little things with a million ads and, not very much to it. Spider-Man and Batman both came out, twice a month. That's why they're on this list twice. Maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe there's just, I think there's just more, I don't know. Is there more titles and like Spider-Man and Batman coming out more often? And that's why there's just more of it. I don't know. I can't really tell. I couldn't say exactly why, but those are my guesses. Is there's just more titles. Also, there's more independents coming out with bigger volumes, so they cost more. That's kind of like my guess as to why. I have looked at the numbers. I haven't really seen like a mass amounts of like change in numbers. So it wasn't like, Batman, 20 years ago was selling only, instead of 100,000 units, it was selling like 50,000 units. It hasn't really changed very much. But I have, also one thing to account for is this freaking variant covers. I was looking at another book that had like 100 variant covers. It's like variant covers for days. So that means that the comic shops have to order more to get those variants and things like that. So that could account for a lot of these higher numbers. So hope you like this video. Let me know in the comments below. All right, thanks.